Hello, beautiful. Today, I want to continue my conversation on how to create the courage to easily, joyfully, and gracefully sell high ticket coaching offers and scale your coaching business from zero to multiple six figures or from multiple six figures to your first $1 million. So let's dive right in. Whenever we're starting a new thing, going into a new phase of our lives or our business or relationships, fear kicks in because it's something we've never done before. And it's easy to say, well, I'm not scared. I can just feel the fear and do it anyway. But what I've learned in almost 50 years is that that doesn't work. At some point, there's a diminishing return on using willpower to fight fear. So today I'm going to share with you the one weapon that I use personally against fear. In the last video, I talked a little bit about it. I step into faith and I shift into that person who creates, makes the decision, and does the thing from who's God calling me to be. But today I'm going to really be specific and give you practical steps to use so that you can shift from I'm waiting to be confident or I'm waiting to until the fear goes away to doing the thing, not because you're doing it in spite of the fear, but because you know who you are when you're doing the thing. So if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Mimi Dabo. I'm a high-ticket business coach, and I support spiritual women coaches to co-create profitable high-ticket business models so they can quickly, easily, and gracefully scale to multiple six figures or their first $1 million in their coaching business. So let's dive in. Whether it's public speaking for the first time or second or 10th time, or charging $10,000 more than you've ever charged before, or creating a new program, or speaking to a client that you think is way more qualified than you, fear comes up. Your palms are sweaty, your heart is pounding really fast, your knees are quivering, your stomach hurts, you have cramps. A lot of things are going on physically, emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. And in those situations, it's easy to just step back and say, well, you know what? I'm not going to get on the sales call. Or I'm not going to reach out to the 4 people I need to do outreach with today because I'm afraid. I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to drop the ball here. Not consciously, but subconsciously. We procrastinate. We drop the ball. We focus on making our websites pretty or doing a new branding photo shoot instead of calling the client or, getting on that sales call or scheduling calls. We do whatever we have to do to avoid the situation. So how do you really get to sell the $100,000 offer? How do you get to get on a call and easily say the investment to work with me is $50,000 or $25,000? And how do you create a growth strategy that scares you, that makes you clench your butt cheeks, and yet you still do it gracefully? How do you do that? One of the most important things that has served me personally well, and I share with my clients, is that we need to remember 2 things. And I say this in every video: who you are and your assignment, your identity and your assignment. And even though I know that I'm a child of God, even though I know whose I am, and even though I know my assignment in the world, to the impact I'm here to make, I get scared every day because every day I have to make decisions that have me clenching my butt cheeks. If the decisions and the growth strategy you have in your business don't scare you and don't make you freak out for like 5 minutes, they're not big enough. You're not challenged. You're not going to be motivated to do them. That's when you say things like, I'm bored. It's kind of like, no, you're not bored. Your vision is not big enough. Your strategy doesn't scare you enough. That's why your goal doesn't scare you. That's why you don't do the thing. That's why you procrastinate, because you need something that challenges you to step into who you're being called to be. And for me, as a coach, and the same thing I used when I was an attorney or an accountant, it was always Joshua 1:9. That's the scripture that I have used in my life personally and professionally to step into anything I'm scared of. Joshua 1:9 says, do not be afraid. It says, be strong and be courageous. God will be with you wherever you go. And that is something I have never forgotten. So whether it's public speaking, walking into my trial for the 10th time or the first time or whatever, or just being on camera or just getting into a sales conversation where I have to say for the first time, the investment to work with me is $100,000. I know that God is with me because my confidence comes from God. My courage comes from God. There's no strategy I can use to manufacture confidence and courage. And there's a diminishing return when I claim that I'm going to do it in spite of the fear. No, you can't. That's BS. So find a scripture, find something that can anchor you into holding on to who you are and not forgetting to remember who you are. As soon as we forget to remember who we are, when we lose sight of whose we are, that's when the fear takes over. Fear is always going to be there. It is not easy. I don't care who you are, to walk into a sales conversation and say, it is $250,000 to work with me, especially when you're a spiritual woman coach who believes this stuff is God's work and you should be doing it for free and giving it all away. I want to know what is landing for you right now, how this is resonating for you when you look at your own business and you look at how much you are charging right now. How easy is it to say that? How long have you been waiting to raise your prices? How long have you been telling yourself, once you take one more course, then you feel better about raising your prices? Once you hire that other coach, then you feel qualified to do X. Yesterday I was talking to a potential client who told me that she doesn't coach any client that is more in her mind intellectually more qualified than her. So she wouldn't coach you if you had an MBA or if you had a PhD or if you had a law degree. She would never coach you because she feels like she's not qualified to, because she's afraid. She's afraid to step into that space where she has to coach people who have a bigger title than she does. And she's afraid to coach people who make over $1 million. So I shared this scripture with her and I said, if you were not afraid, if you have the courage, who would you work with? If you knew that God is with you wherever you go and your confidence and your courage come from Him, how much would you be charging today? What level and caliber of clients would you be working with? What niche would you be serving? How would you show up on camera? How would you show up to your email list? And how would you position yourself in the market to scale? What growth strategy would you use? Will you still be selling $97 courses to scale to $1 million? Or would you create a $50,000 coaching package that has transformational value for your client and can support you to scale and create the impact that you want to make in the world? Like, who would you be if you were not afraid? If you had 10 times the courage than you do right now, what would you be selling? Who would you be coaching? How would you be coaching? Those are the questions I want you to ask. Those are the practical things I want you to look at, because courage is this thing that we think we're going to wait until we get to do the thing. You could wait 100 years and not be courageous enough to say the investment to work with me is $100,000, but you can do that today. If you knew that you were fully covered, fully protected, fully supported, God has your back, the universe is here to support you, and money is here to bless you. From that perspective, what would you do in your business today? What would your next 90-day sales and marketing plan look like? What would your offer container look like? Would you still be doing 12-week programs, or will you have the confidence and courage to step into a 1-year transformational container with your clients? What will your methodology look like? Will you be excited to talk about your offer? Will you be excited to come on camera and tell everyone about it because you know how it's going to change or shift their lives or up-level them into the next part of their lives? So just as you leave, I want you to drop in the comments. If you had 10 times the courage, what would you do today? Who would you be today? What will you be saying today? What would you be selling right now in your business and for how much? If this has been helpful, let me know. Hit subscribe, hit like, and come back for more. It's been good having you.